Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. So in this presentation, we are going to talk, discuss, and do some basic analysis regarding poetry. And the title of the poem is Daystar by Rita Dove. Yeah. First of all, before starting our presentation, let me introduce our group members. The first one is I am Niki Mary Bidadari with student number 200221607 and the second one is Juanita Maharani Putri with student number 200221607 and we are all from class Introduction to Literature. Yeah, before we move on to the slides that will discuss the content of Daystar's poem, I will give a general information about who is Rita Dove is. Well, here I took it from the internet. So Rita Frances Dove is an American poet and essayist from 1993 to 1995. She served as poet laureate consultant in poetry to the Library of Congress. She is the first African American to have been appointed since the position was created by an act of Congress in 1986. From the previous consultant in poetry position. Daystar was written by Rita Dove in the early 1980s and published as part of her anthology Thomas and Bole in 1986. Well, I will also be reading Daystar to make sure we all know what it's about. Yeah, Daystar. She wanted a little room for thinking. But she saw diapers steaming on the line. A doll slumped behind the door, so she lodged a chair behind the carriage to sit out the children's naps. Sometimes there were things to watch. The bench armor of a vanished cricket, a floating maple leaf. Other days she stared until she was assured. When she closed her eyes, she'd see only her own vivid blood. She had an hour at best before Lisa appeared pouting from the top of the stairs. And just what was Mother doing out back with the field mice? Why? Building palace? Later that night, when Thomas rolled over and lurched into her, she would open her eyes and think of the place that was hers for an hour, where she was nothing, pure nothing, in the middle of the day. The purpose of Daystar, I think it is to emphasize, to illustrate the life of a mother and also a wife who was only tasked to do the household chores as her only responsibility. Yes, as her full-time job. So if we look back and notice when this poem was written, it was 1986. I consider that Rita Dove wanted to show the boundaries in woman's life. You know, like there are gender gaps between man and woman and so on and so forth. For example, in the first stanza, she wanted a little room for thinking, but she saw diapers steaming on the line. It is a domestic activity, very conventional. Well, I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but I can catch a message. The woman, at least at that time, haven't enough choice to be what she wants, such as to express her feeling. I think it is what Rita Dove intends to share in this poem. Yeah, imagery. In the third stanza, it means that sometimes she just wants life to be calm and peaceful, like the floating maple of a fallen leaf. Meanwhile, on the other days, she only felt loneliness and full of darkness, like when she closed her eyes.
And then we also found imagery in stanza 5. Building a palace. Later that night, when Thomas rolled over and lurched into her, she would open her eyes and think of the place that was hers, for an hour where she was nothing, pure nothing in the middle of the day. It means she assumed that she had a life according to her wishes. She created a comfortable place and a situation for herself, away from the distraction of others. This stanza is the continuity of stanza 4. In stanza 4, her child asked her why she was outside, and then she answered that she was building a palace. Building a palace here doesn't mean that she built a palace for a king or a queen. No, it's a place that only for her. A place for being nothing. She imagined that at that place she was just an ordinary woman, not as a wife nor a mother. The next is the lexical thematic dimension. We found two aspects. There are the theme and then the rhetorical features. For the theme, the poem mainly tells about a woman's mentality after becoming a mother and also a wife. She should do the household chores every day, and then she thought that she didn't have much time for enjoying her life alone. And then for the rhetorical features, there is alliteration feature in this poem. Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant in the first letter of the words. For example, chair in line 1 of the second stanza and children in line 2 of the second stanza. The last is the rhythmic acoustic dimension. We found that this poem was written without rhyme because it doesn't have certain patterns. It also has different lengths in each stanza. In the first stanza contains 3 lines, and then in the second stanza has 2 lines. In the third stanza has 6 lines. The fourth stanza has 4 lines, and then the last stanza, or in the fifth stanza, has 7 lines. So it can be considered as in what is known as free verse. That's all from us. Thank you for watching. I hope this video gives you more knowledge about the Daystar poem that written by Rita Dove. If you have any question, just leave it on the discussion forum, and then we will answer it as soon as possible. Thank you so much and goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.